Welcome back. It's been a wild political ride for Elon Musk, and tonight, as Rachel reported earlier, Musk is officially out of the Trump administration. This comes on the heels of him criticizing Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill in an interview. It caps a turbulent tenure as the chief of Doge, trying to slash government spending across the board. Jay O'Brien looks back at what Musk did in just a matter of months.
The most recognizable figure other than the president of this second Trump term, the chainsaw wielder. Headline-grabbing billionaire Trump backer behind a controversial overhaul of the federal government.
Save federal workers.
Now, Elon Musk is officially out of the Trump administration. The world's richest man confirmed in this X post his time as a special government employee has come to an end. The culmination of a wild political ride.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
It started with record-breaking big-dollar campaign contributions to put Trump back in power and led Musk to an integral role in Trump's orbit, staying at his Mar-a-Lago club, taking an office right next to the White House, and traveling with the president on Marine One.
Yeah!
Musk wasn't a candidate in 2024.
This is what victory feels like.
And he's never been confirmed by the United States Senate. But he wielded significant power as the de facto head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, an agency that didn't exist until a few months ago.
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as DOGE.
Okay, that's a big one.
And has gutted the federal government, all with the goal of streamlining its functions. The shakeup started on the first full day of Trump's second term. The Office of Personnel Management, which acts as a human resources department for the government, directed agencies to start putting together a list of workers they could easily get rid of. A week later, some 2 million federal employees received an email with an offer to resign and be paid through September or risk being fired. The subject line, the fork in the road, the same phrase Musk used when he was slashing the workforce at Twitter. Fast forward just 30 days, and Musk and his team of DOGE personnel gained access into more than a dozen federal agencies, with the potential to see the sensitive and personal information of millions of Americans. Top officials from the Social Security Administration to the IRS resigned in protest. The first agency to fall was USAID, administering foreign aid across the globe. Tens of thousands of federal employees across the government were fired, from the National Institutes of Health to the Department of Education to the Forest Service. Many of the terminations abrupt, even chaotic. Officials with the National Nuclear Security Administration, in charge of the nation's nuclear stockpile, were fired in error. The Department of Energy then scrambled to rehire them. Workers at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, protecting American consumers, were first told to stay home before many of them were let go. Some showed up anyway. 75,000 federal workers took Musk and DOGE's offer to resign. And after that offer closed, other federal workers started receiving emails and calls like this.
You will receive your termination notice via email shortly.
Justine Ballou worked for the Department of Agriculture. 72 hours out from delivering her baby, she was fired.
Paid maternity leave is off the table, and my health insurance is set to lapse at the end of this month.
Federal workers' unions called many of the firings callous and indiscriminate. Musk laying out his approach to this audience in Dubai.
If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back. But if you remove the roots of the weed, it doesn't stop weeds from ever growing back, but it makes it harder. So we have to really delete entire agencies, many of them.
But while helming DOGE, the South African-born entrepreneur continued to run his other cutting-edge companies like Tesla and SpaceX, both of which have been awarded roughly $18 billion over the last decade in federal contracts, including by agencies the president asked Musk to look into. The billionaire saying this when pressed by ABC's Rachel Scott.
If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
Are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not
the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX.
And Trump weighing in too.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area. If we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest.
Entering government, Musk set a sky-high goal of cutting $2 trillion in federal spending, later changing that to $1 trillion. But as the billionaire businessman returns to the private sector, Doge claims it's currently only slashed $175 billion out of the federal budget through canceling contracts and leases and firing employees. And even that number is disputed and hard to verify. Looking back, Musk recently telling the Washington Post, the federal bureaucracy situation is much worse than I realized. I thought there were problems, but it sure is an uphill battle.
I think he wants to get the job done, get back to his businesses. That's what I think.
Trump White House officials now insist Musk is leaving on good terms and will still serve as an unofficial advisor to the president. And Musk's influence will likely be felt for years. His companies are still deeply ingrained in government work, from NASA to the Pentagon. Hand-picked Doge staffers now have senior roles across the federal government. And the world's richest man still has billions to burn in any upcoming elections.
Our thanks to Jay O'Brien for that.